Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Rohn. What a pleasure it is for me to come and visit with you for just a few minutes here today. Tell you briefly a little bit about my story and share some ideas that might be beneficial. I've lectured in some high school classrooms in California and Arizona and some universities and colleges, Pepperdine University, San Diego State, Arizona State University. And so I've had a chance to talk to kids that are interested in themselves and interested in their future, interested in America, interested in what they can do with their lives, and listening to stories that might be beneficial. And I don't have a chance to, visit all of the schools and universities around the world, so this is a great chance for me by video to have a chance to tell you my story. Just briefly, let me tell you my story. I grew up in Idaho, farm country. My father still lives on the old homestead where I grew up, southwestern Idaho. He'll be 91 his next birthday, and I'm very proud of him. I went to high school. I graduated. I went to college 1 year. Halfway through my second year, I decided I was smart enough, so I quit. One of my major mistakes. I should have stayed in school. But I thought, heck, I'm smart enough to get a job. And back then I thought, that was it. If you're smart enough to get a job, what else would you need? Found out later, a big mistake. But anyway, I quit school at age 19, went to work. A little while later, persuaded a beautiful young lady to marry me with a lot of fancy promises. And fortunately for me, we got married. A little while later, I started my family. And I'm out there working hard, doing the best I thought I could. But year by year, I kept falling a little further behind. Buying a little more than I could conveniently pay for on time. And the creditors are finally starting to call saying, hey, you told us the check was in the mail. I'm not feeling at all good about that. About age 25, I've got pennies in my pocket, I've got nothing in the bank, and way behind on my big mouth promises to my family, and wondering what could I do to make my life better. I was willing to work hard. That was not my problem. But I just wasn't making the progress I wanted to make. And then good fortune came my way. Sometimes it's difficult to describe good fortune, why something remarkable happens to you at a particular time. One of my friends says, well, hey, things don't just happen. Things happen just. And maybe that's it, I don't know. But my good fortune was I had a chance to meet a very wealthy man. His name was Mr. Schoaf, Mr. Earl Schoaf. A friend of mine had gone to work for him, and he started telling me about this man. He said, you got to meet this man. He's rich, but he's easy to talk to. And he's got a remarkable philosophy of life. And he kept going on, and I thought, well, I've got to meet this man. So shortly after that, I had a chance to meet this Mr. Schoaf, and I was impressed. He was rich. He was easy to talk to. Within a few minutes, I was dazzled. And I said to myself, I would give anything if I could be like that, rich and easy to talk to. What would it take? And then I thought, if I could just get around somebody like him, and if he would teach me and coach me, I would do it all. And that was my good fortune. A few months later, this wealthy man, Mr. Schoaf, hired me and gave me a job, and I went to work for him, and I spent the next 5 years in his employ. And then, unfortunately, at age 49, he died. But I got to spend 5 years with this remarkable man, his last 5 years of his life, and the first 5 years of my new life. And my dream came true during that 5-year period. This man took the time to teach me and coach me. He taught me the books to read. He taught me the disciplines, and he taught me the skills. And he taught me the changes to make in my language and personality. And the things he shared with me during that 5 years changed my whole life. Changed my income, changed my bank account, changed my future. I've never been the same. By the time I was 31 years old, I was a millionaire. So he taught me economics as well. So how lucky can you get to meet the right person at the right time who takes the time to share with you ideas that can change your life? A lot of rich people, right, don't take the time, but he did, and he also had the ability. Some people want to share their experiences, but they don't quite know how to say it, but he had it all, and he used language that I could understand, and those ideas greatly affected my life. I wish he was still alive today. If he was, I'd be calling him today one more time, thanking him for the time he spent with me sharing his life and his experiences that so dramatically affected my life. Then, how I really came to be invited to speak to you today. 30-plus years ago, I was living in Beverly Hills, California. And a friend of mine one day said, "Jim, you've got to come and tell your story to my service club." He belonged to the Rotary Club. And he said, "I know your story, Idaho farm boy makes it to Beverly Hills. But he said, I know my club members would love to hear your story. Would you come and at our breakfast meeting and tell your story?" And I said, "Okay." So I arranged a little talk, went and shared my story that morning, and guess what? They liked it. And my phone rang. Another club called and said, "Would you come and tell us that story?" My phone rings. Another club calls, said, "We've heard about your story. We have a luncheon meeting. Would you come share your story?" First thing I know, I'm spending a little piece of my time giving these breakfast talks and luncheon talks. And then one day, a man who heard my talk about 3 times said, "Would you come and talk to my management and salespeople?" He said, "I've got this little company going, and he said, if you would spend some time talking with my management and salespeople, I'd be happy to pay you." And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be something? Tell my story and my experiences and get paid? He said, "I'd be happy to."